friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I have quite a few new subscribers and I'm so excited. And I don't know in the order that this video will come out, but I don't know if I mentioned this before. I have a little giveaway coming up and I'm very, very excited. So we're getting close to the date as a thank you for reaching my 1,000 subbies. So I'm over 1,000 subbies now, so I'm very excited. Okay guys, today I want to share my latest journals. These have already found a happy home, and I've had some ladies wanting me to explain how I post, or the system that I have, or for when I post my my journals, and this is what's working for me, and I think I'm keeping it that way. I start posting little sneak peeks over on my Instagram and my Facebook and the Facebook groups that I belong. And when I do those sneak peeks, I'm almost done with the journal, to be honest. I don't have just, to get some more pictures, and I'm almost done with all the details. So the best way to know what I'm working on and what's coming up the pipe next is to follow my Instagram. That's where I post, that's where everything goes first, is my Instagram, so that you can see kind of what's coming up. Then what I do, and the other thing that you want to do, is follow my Etsy store, because that's where I usually all the time, my journals will hit my Etsy store before you see the video. That's just how it's working for me. I can't do it any other way, guys, because I just can't. I can't keep up. I have just too much. I want to create, and I really enjoy creating and video, and I have to make videos because I like sharing, and I want you guys to get ideas and stuff. But that would put me in a rush. If I have to post my videos before I list them, it'll put me like in a rush. For example, these two ladies have been listed and they've already sold, and I'm getting ready to ship them. I mean, I've got everything set up to ship, but I have to do the video on them. So if you want to get a hold of my journals, the best way is to follow my Instagram and then follow my Etsy, so that you get notified right away. Okay, and if you see something that you like, I would not be offended if you send me a little message and say, tell me a little bit more about this journal, I kind of like it, and that way you might be able to get to it before it gets to by the time it gets to, before it gets to Etsy. But anyway, that's just my setup, how I think of it. Now to get to it, first of all, my coffee. I'm doing my little Cuban espresso, excuse me, which I really need. And I found these cute little cups, you guys. My sister had gotten me some. I don't want to spill it over my journals, but look, it's orange. My sister had got me some of these for James and I in teal and yellow, I think. And then I went to Hobby Lobby and I found them for fall. I found them in yellow, and I found them in this burnt orange, and I love them. They're so cute. And the reason I'm drinking this is because I'm working late today. I got to do about 3 videos, and I really want to get my hands on this project that I'm working on. Okay, so the theme on this journal is mainly fall, and because I'm like in a fall mood, and with the little subtle bee, my first bee, Queen, it was called Queen Bee Journal, that I got was very popular. The first one that I made was very popular. I've gotten so many requests to do one, and I will eventually. I'll do one of those, a really thick one. But I wanted to do some small, like a smaller version with just a light theme of bees, but mainly fall. So I'm going to just walk you through it. But let me show you some of the little setup that I have going on. I have been collecting. I've given a lot of it away, but I love anything to do with bees. I'm a gardener. So I've been collecting. As a matter of fact, I'm working on a notebook for an upcoming teachable thing that I want to do online, like this course. And I think I'm going to cover the book. I have like this notebook where I'm going to start taking journals. I'm going to start taking notes. And I think I'm going to cover my book. If I do it, I will show it to you. It's just a plain notebook, but I'm going to turn it into like a little journal. But I'm going to do it in the bee theme, and I'm just looking forward to that. So anyway, let me show you what I have been collecting so far that have to do with bees. I found this really pretty washi tape. I don't know if you can see it. Look how cute that is. Look how pretty. So I have a little box where I'm keeping like my bee stuff that I love, and sometimes I just like to look at it, you know, or just kind of put it out. I found this really cute little, look how adorable, this little honey pot. Look how cute, and it's got little things on the bottom. It's adorable. I think, look how cute. I know I got this. My sister didn't give it to me. I think I got it online or something. I love it. Adorable. And then of course I have I have more bee stuff. I just couldn't find it. Some of my bee jewelry. I'm saving these guys for a project. I'm really saving these for a project. Oh, and then my aunt had gotten me a long time ago these tapestry books. And look how pretty. I've been saving. I've gotten rid of most of the tapestry books. There were like a lot of them. I only have a few in white and cream that are left. And then I have this one little panel left. And I think it's beautiful. So I'm saving this like if it was a big treasure. And then I have more. A few. Every time I come across any pins or anything to do, I just pick them up. Look how pretty these are. Can you see them? This one's my favorite. Well, no, this one's my favorite, the brown one. Isn't she pretty? So these are my little private little stash. And then I found this ribbon for $3. I don't know where I got it from. Look how pretty this is. Here, let me see if you can see it. Can you see that? Look how pretty. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So, okay, yes, enough with my bee collection stuff. But anyway, that's like my little setup here, so it looks pretty. Okay, so let's get started. I only made 2 of the journals. And I did my expose binding thing that I'm into now that I love. And because the binding is with either seam binding or silk sari, I have to keep my pages to a minimum. And because I don't load it up, you know, there's not like 98 pages in here, I try to keep the inside of the journal kind of light. That means not too much embellishments and stuff, so that you have more free journal pages, being that there's not that many pages. But I think these journals will make for like a great, I think they're a little bit thick. They're a little bit big for like a one event journal, but they would make this would make a good gardening journal, a devotional, an inspirational journal, maybe as a gift. I mean, this would make such a pretty gift. But anyway, I'll show you how the presentation part is in a little bit. But this one comes with some goodies, and it comes with, each of them come with a little set of these goodies here. Let me show you. Is this one the one I want to show you? It doesn't matter. They're both the same. But it comes, this is something that you can add. Like I said, I kept the journal a little light as far as embellishments, because since the pages are a little bit limited, I didn't want to load them up. I wanted to give you the option. And you can also use this on another journal. You don't have to put them all in this journal. You can use them for something else. So I made a little grouping here, and then this little grouping I attach with a little gold paper clip, and then I have a tiny little piece of this silk sari material in those tones, and that's how that's held together. You get look at this, how pretty this boho trim. So this is like a bee fall journal in the boho style. So you get this little journaling card, and I'm going to list underneath, I'm going to list the paper collection and where I got everything, because it's just too much to mention. I do know that I use some of my sari silks are from Sheila over at the Boho Daydream on Facebook, our Facebook group. And also I use some from my friend Roxy Car 11. She is a Mom's Impression on Etsy. I'm going to link her store underneath. And she's very talented. She makes beautiful journals. I mean, she is very, very talented. So she gifted me a bunch of these sari embellishments and trims and stuff like that. So I did use some of her things here. But as far as the papers and everything, to be honest, I don't remember, because I'm working like on 3 different journals at the same time. but I will list them all underneath. Okay, so you get this journaling card, this jumbo one. You get, I love this one. This is from the same paper collection. You get this other journaling card, and look at the pretty sari on top. Isn't that pretty? I love that. You can journal in the back. You get a little envelope that you can do whatever you like with it, and then I put a little bit of this jute ribbon that I've had forever. This is a die cut little envelope kind of pocket that I made, that I cut with one of my dies. I want to start using a lot of my dies now. I want to use more of my stamps, definitely. So, oh, and I have, I wanted to do a little stamping. I don't know if I got to do a little stamping on the pages. Hang on one second, let me show you something. Okay, guys, I'm so glad I remember, because before I mail it out tonight, I'm going to open them up and I want to do a little stamping. I wanted to do very light. Again, trying to keep the pages clean and clear so you can journal on. But I want to do very light little faint stamping, and I remember I wanted to do that. That's like the icing on the cake, and I totally forgot, but I just remember. I'm going to do a little background stamp. When I open the journals now and give you the flip through so you can see it, you're not going to see any of the stampings, but it will have a little bit very fainted. And look, I was searching for the stamp forever. I knew I had it. I just couldn't find it. Isn't that cute? So I'm going to be stamping this sweet little bee here and there kind of lightly. So just to let you know that if you don't see this in the journal now, it will be because I'm going to do it. Okay, so back to my little envelope that I made. I think this is an old, I don't know if it's Tim Holtz paper or what, but this is an old paper collection. So I made a little pocket envelope, and I have a little ephemera, little receipt here. Again, keeping it kind of like these, these yellowish, golden brown colors. And then this little ephemera piece here is just kind of like lightly glued in the back. You can remove it if you like. It's very lightly. But I wanted it kind of peeking through, and the only way that I could make that happening without it falling underneath was to tack it a little bit. Then I did a little collage with some of this really soft little cotton fabric, and just snippet pieces from a tablecloth and some of my sari fabric, and another little ephemera piece. So you get that envelope, and that's part of the little extra gift that you get. And you get this little envelope. I love this one. This one's a cutie, and it's just a little pocket, and this is an ephemera piece, and I did a little collage here. This is some silk, really pretty frayed. It's like all frayed and all beat up. It's so pretty material. And then a little bit of the snippet little piece that I had in my little pile, and that's how it looks like in the back. And it's got all the colors that are in the journal, and of course you can put anything you like in here. So you get that little package for you to use as you like. You can put it in the journal or not. So the only difference from my big chunky journals is the amount of pages, because the embellishments with this little add-on package that I'm going to try to incorporate, again with the idea of keeping the pages as clean as I can, they're just about the same thing, but they don't have as many pages, and the binding is different. So by me doing that, I can keep these journals lower in prices, because it's a lot, less work for me, especially with the binding, and then again, less pages, less work. So I can, and they'll still be like, look, they're still cute, they're still beautiful. So, but you'll still get the same amount of ephemera. So, and you'll be paying a lot less than my regular journals. Okay, so, but I can still only do 2 at a time. So you get that, and then you get this little burlap, little sack that I embellished a little bit with some sari trim. You'll get about a yard, a little over a yard of my German twine that I used to bind this journal, but you can use it for whatever you like. And you get this really cute little charm right here. Is this thing not focusing again? Oh boy, let me see. it's focusing. See, you get that. And then inside is the best part. Inside you get this little flip that you can to do with these. This is from another paper collection, which I'm going to list underneath. Look how cute these images are. And this has a little bit more of the teal. Well, kind of like the sagey color that's on the seam binding and on this focal bead over here. But like, again, I didn't see something like this in the cover would be so pretty. But I didn't want to, you know, it's up to you what you want to do with this. And you get some of my precious beads. You get a whole little sack of my beads. And as you can see, there's a little bead charm there. And there's a butterfly, a butterfly back here. Some of my yellow beads. Yellow beads are hard to find. You get some bead caps and some spacers and stuff. So you can make your own journal jewelry. Okay, so that is your little add-on that you're going to get with this journal. Now, to get to the good part, which is the journal. So they're both pretty much identical, really, to be honest. There might be like a few, I don't know, maybe just a few little things, but you can see they're just, see? They're just the same thing. So that doesn't matter. Let's open this one. So this is the journal. It's made out of paper, and I backed it up with more paper, so it's sturdy, but you know, it's firm. It's kind of firm, but it's a little pliable. And the back is all paper, and it's so pretty. And then the binding, like I said, is exposed, and I used my crinkly seam binding in this beautiful color. And I tried to, I was making a bead. This is a glass bead, and I was really trying really hard to, I need to put something brown in the back because this is not working, the shadow thing. You know, maybe this will help. I really want to show you the bead, but it won't focus too much if I have, can you see it? It's a really pretty glass bead. I made it in silver, and then it has a little dangle on the bottom, but I was so fortunate to find in my stash a little bead that matched the crinkling seam binding. So I want to keep this a little light because I don't want it pulling on the journal, but I think this little glass bead is just like the perfect little touch. And then it matches this is not vintage, but it's really pretty, and it looks really pretty against the brown sari back here. So let me give you a look around. This is all the different layers. I like to do my presentation so that you can see layers and layers and layers and more layers. And then this is the bottom. I have some of my pretty brown lace that I found, and I how do you call that? Not crinkled, but I forgot. How do you say this again? Ruffled bunch back here. So for the back, I do have some silk, some sari silk in, you know, the silk one. And then I have some sari silk over here in the front. So let me show you. I love these colors. They make me so happy. So let's open this baby up and let me show you. So it comes off. It's wrapped around twice. Like that. And then this is the little presentation that's in the front of the journal. And this is the actual journal itself. Look how pretty this paper. Then I went ahead and I put a little veil of that fabric that I love with the gold. So this is the actual journal. This is, I think this is what you would carry with you. I would put this in the inside of the journal. It's up to you, whatever you like to do. But yep, this is the actual journal. So let me show you the little presentation packages in the front. So as you can see, you get a lot with this journal. First is this envelope. I love that image a lot. I sewed on the side. Again, I try to keep my sewing to a minimum, but that doesn't work sometimes. On these, on this series of journals that I'm making that are not as chunky. Again, to keep it low, I tried to keep the sewing to a minimum, but I didn't with this one. I got carried away. So I did a little bit of sewing here, and then I put this really pretty sari trim here. I think this is from my friend Roseanne at A Mom's Impression, and I made this. The back goes like this. You can journal plenty of, there's lined, and then I cover the inside with music sheet, and there's more goodies in here. In here there is I found this, which is a little advertisement. I think it's so cute. I love it. I love the colors. I like the bright bold colors. And of course you can journal in the back, and it could be like your little secret compartment back here. And then you get a little tag. And there's some line in the back. And that goes in here. So I'll put that together later. You get this journaling card, which I found, and I don't remember where I found it. I'll try to link the collection that I found it. Look how pretty this journaling card is. It reminds me of the Brooklyn Botanical Garden. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I put 2 layers of sari like that. And this is the card that's holding the focal bead that's in the front, and then you can journal in the back. And I love this. It's like a burnt, it's really hard to get it on pictures, the colors, but this is like a burnt orange, and this is also like a lighter orange, maybe with a little bit more brown. It looks really pretty. And then it's got this was part of the trim, and I tried to keep it, and it's like worn, and I love it. It's so pretty. And then you get this little journaling card. I think this is I think it's Pink Monarch, but I'm not sure, but I'm gonna link it underneath. I love her tags, and the reason I picked this one is because of the yellow rose, and I love that number. And then I did a little of my sari on top, and then you can journal in the back. And then here I made kind of like a little tuck spot on the very top little layer. You could use it like that, or you can put it someplace else. I cover the back with vintage dictionary page, and I love this image. And then I did a layer of my brown paper bag, my lunch bag layer back there that I try to wrinkle up so that it looks all wrinkly and crunchy. And then you can still see a little bit of the vintage dictionary page peeking through. I love this image. I just love it. And then this is from the main paper collection. I did a little collage here with some of my sari. This is the name of the journal. And then I put this pretty little bee cut out here. And I, of course, de-stress the edges. And then you can journal in the back. So this kind of goes like that, and it goes in the front, but you can do whatever you like with it. So now let me show you the actual journal. For the top, I went ahead and I ruffled. I found this material. It's gold, and it's got little, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got little gold polka dots on it, and it's really pretty. I ruffled a whole bunch, and I'm going to be using it in a lot of my fall journals. This is a piece of sari. This is another piece of sari, and I already told you that I ruffled that up. So when you open her up, I left the inside here kind of plain, so you can put a pocket, or you can just simply journal wherever you want to journal on. And I love this. Looks like a stamp. I love this image too. And then here I made a little tuck spot, just like this is a vintage receipt printable. I think this might be ruby and pearl, but I'll let you know. I made a little tuck spot with this big gigantic mama of a bee. I gave her a little veil with that see-through fabric that I like, and I just created like this tiny little tuck spot, and like a fainted, I wanted her to be a little faint, a little, like you can see her but not too bright. And then in this little tuck spot I have another one of these tags that are part of this collection. and I put one inside in that little tuck spot, and then I gave it on top this little bow of this little sari material, and there's a tiny little bee there. I love it. And then there's some of the yellowish colors that I was looking for. So this goes on first. Then I have this little, you can journal in the back, this little, this is like the perfect little color for this. A little ledger, little paper. Then there's this, I love this printable, it's so pretty. You can journal in the back. And then this tiny little journaling card right here. I think these are, this, I don't know if this is a bee, but I don't know what these are. But anyway, very pretty. That goes there. And then, as you can see, a lot of these are my coffee dye pages, and I think I have a couple of tea dyes, but most of them are coffee dye. Here I made a little ruffle, and I put some of that fabric that's on that envelope, that little embellished piece. This is the, what is this? This is another receipt back here, and then what I did on the back side, I just ran a seam binding, not a seam binding, a sari silk piece. This is also a sari silk piece, and I did a tiny little collage right here. When you flip the page, this is the actual receipt itself. I made a little tuck spot right here with, I love this lace. I found it the other day in my stash, and then I did a tiny little collage here. This came off a, it was very tedious to remove, but it came off a costume that I found, and it's perfect. And then in this little tuck spot, I found this really pretty printable little image. I love her color. You can journal in the back, so she goes in here like this. And then on this side, I made a little tuck spot on top with a little collage with this sari. I have some sari back here. And then I have sari silk back here, the ribbon. And then I have this material here. And then I found this perfect little bead in this pretty brown color right here. Let's see if I can show you. And then I added this little dangle with the gold pin, and that goes perfectly in there. And then here I have a jumbo tag. How pretty. And then I put this ruffle. I didn't ruffle this, it came like that, and it's kind of silky, sheer, kind of, I mean shiny. It's really pretty. I've had this in my stash. Another journaling card, tucks right in, right here like this. See, I got some fabric going on back here. Tucks right in. This is another little journaling card with a vintage dictionary page and another little card, and that tucks right in. So let's move right along. A little collage here. Plenty of room. I love this. This has to be my favorite page. I don't know why. I think it's because I love this image. I love the flowing look of the netting. And then I found this sari trim that's very flowing. So that reminds me of the netting. I don't know. But this is my favorite page, believe it or not. And then you can see some more. It's all brown, but I love it. You can see the two layers that I've got going on here. The main brown back here, and then the pretty sari shiny one on top. This is my favorite page. And then this paper collection has like this faded. I love it. I love that whole spread. I love it. Journaling space. Another collage with a sari silk ribbon. I love that image. Here we have two little pieces of sari. This is the shiny sari. Plenty. I love this tab. Plenty of room to journal on. And I love this tab. I had a little bit of this material, this little trim that I had in the front. So I used it here. It's just like a little messy tab. I love it. And then this is the center. I used this in the center to tie in more of this color right here. And see this, how pretty this card would look here in the center too, if you like. I don't know, whatever you like. I love that sagey undertone, but I didn't want too much of the sagey all over, but I did want it, I wanted to pull it to bring this color into it, and I think this whole page did that, and it's beautiful. And then I use this page to add my my beautiful well hidden brown lace. Here I did create, so you see I do end up embellishing them, but not as much. You have to give me credit, not as much. Here I created a little tuck spot. First I have this little gold paper clip that's holding something in the back, and I'll show you in a little bit. These are some new labels that I discovered thanks to Angela Kerr. She mentioned them in a project that she did, and I went and I bought them. And some more of the little bees. So that these little journaling cards, tiny, go in here. And then in this little tuck spot, I have more. Another one of these envelopes, but this one has a tiny little gold ribbon that I found, real tiny. And inside there is another, what is in here, because I forget what I put. Oh, I like this one. This is an advertising for honey, and I love it. You can journal in the back. So this little tuck, little hidden area here. What else do you get? You get another journaling card here. You get this little journaling card, which I love. I love all the little black in it. And then here you get another little, I love this. I love what it says. You get another little area to journal on. And then this little tuck spot I created with some sari, just a little sari strip. I love this strip, it's so beautiful. And these little dangles right here are from my friend Roseanne, Mom's Impression on Etsy. She sent me some of this, and I'm using just a little bit at a time because I love it so much. Thank you, Roseanne. So this tucks right in here, and then the little cards go in here. But let me show you the little, oops, this is in the back. I'll show you that in a bit. I made a little paper clip. I didn't make it, it was already made, but I embellished it a little bit with some sari silk, and then this perfect bead that I have used before, but I had a few left, that is just the perfect shade of like green. So that goes on here, and it dangles outside the journal too. And then in the back, the little paper clip was holding this little envelope, this tiny cute little envelope. Look how adorable. That's like an inch maybe. Look how cute. And there is a little card in there. There is something in there. Look how adorable. So that was being held with the paper clip. You get a jumbo tag with some fabric on top that I put. I did a little collage again with those labels that I just discovered. I'm going to link them underneath. Some more sari, and this is one of Tracy Fox's labels. So, and this material, which was, and the reason I used it was because to pay honor to the original bee journal that I make, the very first one that I made, I had this in the back. It was on the back of the spine, and it's like this velvety, I love this material, so I've been saving it. So I wanted to incorporate a little bit of that journal in here, so I used this fabric to do that. What else we got? What else we got? The back of that printable, more room to journal on. Here I made a little tab. I love this page so much. Pretty little tab, a messy little tab with some sari. Plenty of room to journal. Here I did a little collage again with my polka dot gold material that I love. Some of that rope material, what do you call that, trim. And then another label. The back, you can see the back of the golden ruffle. Another little collage, the back of the receipt, another little collage. So you see I'm going to faintly stamp, very faintly, like nothing, and then I have to put a little bee. I'm going to try to do this on an area that's already been used. I don't want to do it like on a clear area that you can journal on, so just so you all know. More of the sari silk, plenty of room to journal on. And then this is the back page, which is very pretty, and it has a little bit more of that green. And that's the back of the journal. So that's it, you guys. These pretty ladies are going to ship as soon as I stop talking and get my stamping going, and I got my packaging and everything ready to go with the labels and everything. It's going to ship out. So I hope that you give these little journals a try. They're not that little, but if you want something kind of quick to make, and you know, it's just one way. It's just, you know, there's so many talented ladies out there doing all kinds of journals, and you can get ideas from everyone. So I hope that you were able to pick up a little inspiration, maybe a few little tips or something that you might want to try on your journal. If you do, and you got the idea from me or something, just let me know. You don't have to, I mean, I'm not hung up on mentioning my name or getting credit. I don't care. But if you let me know privately, or however you want to let me know, I would love to go and take a look and see, and it'll make me feel so good that I was able to inspire you. Okay guys, thank you, and thanks for watching, and I love you all, and God bless. Bye bye.